Americans consume over 3 billion frozen pizzas every year. That's enough to stack from Earth to the moon and back again. But some frozen pizzas pack more sodium than 6 bags of potato chips and contain ingredients that would make a chemistry professor reach for the antacids. The frozen pizza aisle looks innocent enough. Colorful boxes promising authentic Italian flavors and family-friendly convenience. But behind those appetizing photos lies a minefield of processed ingredients that turn what should be a simple family dinner into a potential health hazard. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on 7 frozen pizza brands that are basically serving barely edible pies while charging premium prices. But be sure to subscribe, like, and stick around, because I will also tell you about 5 brands that actually get it right. Let's start with a total disaster. Totino's Party Pizza isn't pizza. It's an ultra-processed nightmare masquerading as food. This brand's tragic fall from grace tells the story of corporate greed destroying family nutrition. Rose and Jim Totino opened their Minneapolis pizzeria in 1951, serving quality handmade pizzas to loyal customers. Everything changed in 1975 when Pillsbury acquired the company and systematically destroyed its integrity. The Party Pizza launched in the 1980s with aggressive marketing targeting teenagers, prioritizing profits over ingredients. Today's Totino's contains virtually no real food. The crust is a chemical-heavy concoction of dough conditioners and preservatives designed for freezer survival, not flavor. What they call cheese contains less than 40% actual mozzarella. The rest is vegetable oil and artificial flavors. The sauce is tomato-flavored corn syrup loaded with enough sodium to preserve it for decades. The pepperoni is mechanically separated chicken and pork mixed with beef fat, corn syrup, and potato starch for texture. You're eating meat-flavored rubber discs pumped with nitrates for that artificial red color. A single serving delivers more sodium than your daily limit, plus enough preservatives, and to stock a chemistry lab. Parents thinking they're providing quick dinner are actually serving a science experiment. The quality is so abysmal that even college students, who survive on ramen and energy drinks, often leave these pizzas half-finished. When people with zero food standards won't finish your pizza, that reveals everything about what Pillsbury has done to the Totino legacy. From authentic Minneapolis pizzeria to processed food disaster in 4 decades. Red Baron Classic has mastered the art of packaging deception, looking acceptable in the box while delivering crushing sadness on your plate. Launched in 1976 with World War I fighter pilot branding, Red Baron initially positioned itself as premium frozen pizza. The brand genuinely delivered in the 1980s and early 1990s, using quality ingredients and thicker crusts that competed with restaurant pizza. Their Red Baron character commercials became cultural touchstones during peak popularity. Everything changed after Schwann's acquisition. Corporate cost-cutting systematically destroyed what made Red Baron good. Cheaper cheese blends replaced quality dairy, crusts became thinner, and preservatives extended shelf life at flavor's expense. A legitimately good frozen pizza became today's cardboard catastrophe. The crust has become dense, flavorless, and with the texture of moistened cardboard. No rise, no air bubbles, no character. Just a flat, lifeless foundation for equally disappointing toppings. The sauce starts with decent tomato paste, then gets ruined by excessive sugar and artificial flavoring. The result tastes like pizza-flavored candy. Too sweet, too thick, completely one-dimensional. But the cheese is a processed blend that doesn't melt properly, creating a gummy texture that sticks to your teeth. The pepperoni completes the disaster, thin, flavorless, with processed taste that lingers unpleasantly. Clearly made from cheapest possible ingredients, loaded with fillers and preservatives that prioritize shelf life over any resemblance to actual meat. Customer reviews consistently report the same problems: cardboard crust, and artificial taste. Parents report children taking one bite and refusing more, a damning indictment for any family food product. The Baron should stick to flying planes, not destroying pizza. DiGiorno built their brand on "it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno." But reality is more like, it's not pizza. It's a rubbery mess with a $7 price tag. DiGiorno genuinely revolutionized frozen pizza in 1995 with breakthrough innovation, the first frozen pizza that actually rose during baking. Kraft invested millions developing this technology and the iconic slogan that became one of food advertising's most recognizable taglines. Early DiGiorno featured quality ingredients and consistent results, peaking in the early 2000s when it delivered genuine restaurant-like experiences at home. Corporate profit pressure destroyed the innovation. Kraft reformulated cheese blends, increased sodium for flavor enhancement, and modified rising crust technology to reduce production costs. Today's version struggles with uneven rising and gummy texture that plagued the original breakthrough. The rising crust technology sounds impressive until you eat it. Dough rises unevenly, creating pockets of raw, gummy texture alongside overcooked, tough areas. It's like eating Play-Doh pizza that someone forgot to finish cooking. DiGiorno's cheese prioritizes visual appeal over taste or melting properties. This processed blend slides off in sheets, leaving bare dough and handfuls of plastic-tasting dairy product. The sodium content has enough salt to explode your blood pressure monitor. These sky-high levels preserve the pizza and enhance artificial flavors, but create dangerous health risks for families, especially children with developing cardiovascular systems. Stuffed crust varieties combine regular crust problems with processed cheese product injected into pre-formed dough. Baking instructions are deliberately vague because pizzas bake inconsistently. Some areas burn while others remain undercooked, creating food safety risks alongside disappointing eating experiences. Customer satisfaction scores have plummeted as people realize DiGiorno's marketing promises don't match reality. Parents expecting restaurant quality get cafeteria-level quality at premium prices. Elio's rectangle pizza trades on nostalgia while delivering artificial flavors and textures that would make school cafeteria workers cringe. Launched in 1963 in New York, Elio's initially created a decent product with innovative rectangular shape and authentic Italian-American flavors that genuinely appealed to families. The brand gained massive Northeast popularity during the 1970s and 1980s, becoming a trusted childhood staple parents relied on and kids actually enjoyed. Elio's peaked during the 1990s national expansion with nostalgic marketing targeting parents who grew up with the brand. However, multiple ownership changes and competitive pressure gradually destroyed quality. Real ingredients were systematically replaced with processed alternatives, transforming authentic family pizza into today's artificial rectangles. The rectangular shape isn't quirky marketing. It's cost-cutting that enables efficient packaging and production while creating uneven baking. Corners burn while centers remain soggy and undercooked, creating food safety risks alongside poor taste. The crust is flattened white bread topped with pizza-adjacent ingredients. No rise, no texture, no flavor, just bland foundation for equally disappointing toppings. The sauce is candy sweet with artificial flavors that obliterate any tomato hint. Designed to exploit children's sweet preferences, it's more pizza-flavored dessert than actual dinner. What should be melted mozzarella is a processed blend that doesn't melt properly and leaves artificial taste lingering unpleasantly. Children often reject Elio's because the processed cheese tastes so obviously fake. Nostalgic doesn't mean good, and Elio's proves some childhood memories should stay buried. Tombstone Pizza has earned its morbid name by consistently killing any hope of enjoying frozen pizza. This brand represents the absolute bottom of the frozen pizza barrel, with flat sauce, tasteless crust, and oily toppings that slide off like they're trying to escape. Starting in 1962 in a Medford, Wisconsin tavern next to a cemetery, Tombstone was actually respectable local pizza that bar patrons genuinely enjoyed. The brand maintained decent quality through regional expansion and gained popularity during its 1980s national launch with clever Wild West marketing campaigns featuring cowboys and authentic flavors. Kraft's 1990s acquisition marked quality's death sentence. Corporate cost-cutting systematically replaced real ingredients with cheaper alternatives, transforming acceptable frozen pizza into today's flavorless disaster that truly earns its morbid name. The crust is not quite bad enough to be memorably awful, but not good enough to be edible. It's flat, dense, completely flavorless cardboard foundation for equally disappointing toppings. The sauce lives up to Tombstone's deadly reputation. Lifeless and artificial, it tastes like tomato paste, mixed with water and artificial flavoring. No herb complexity, no acidity, no character, just red-colored liquid vaguely resembling pizza sauce. The processed cheese blend separates when heated, creating oil pools that make pizza look like it's sweating, and the toppings will slide off in greasy sheets. The pepperoni is made from the cheapest possible ingredients with enough preservatives to outlast the pyramids. This frozen pizza consistently ranks dead last in blind taste tests, revealing everything about this quality disaster. Tombstone is where flavor goes to die, and dinner plans get disappointed. Jack's Original is a masterclass in disappointing customers while maintaining rock-bottom prices. This brand combines paper-thin crust with sparse toppings and marinara water, creating a pizza experience somehow worse than eating nothing. Launched in 1960 in Little Chute, Wisconsin, Jack's actually offered decent value for 2 decades with reasonable ingredients and adequate taste. The brand built its reputation as affordable family food that didn't completely sacrifice quality for price, gaining modest Midwest popularity through the 1970s and 1980s, with honest marketing emphasizing value over premium positioning. A sale to Nestle in the 1990s shifted focus entirely to cost reduction. Layer by layer, Jack's stripped away ingredient quality, reduced portions, and thinned crusts to achieve rock-bottom pricing. Honest, affordable pizza became paper-thin cardstock, representing everything wrong with race-to-the-bottom pricing. The crust is practically transparent with zero structural integrity or flavor. It's like eating pizza printed on paper. This isn't artisanal Neapolitan thinness, it's just cheap. What should be rich, flavorful tomato sauce is watery, bland liquid that soaks through paper-thin crust, making everything soggy. And the cheese coverage is sparse and uneven, with bare crust areas visible before baking. Jack's proves there's such a thing as too cheap for food. Parents thinking they're saving money wasted on food. Families won't eat. California Pizza Kitchens. Frozen line represents one of the most regrettable brand extensions in frozen food history. This premium restaurant chain licensed their name to frozen pizzas that bear zero resemblance to their restaurant offerings, creating expensive regret for families expecting quality. CPK Restaurants launched in 1985, quickly becoming famous for innovative, high-quality pizzas with unique toppings and authentic ingredients. The chain built a premium reputation throughout the 1990s with creative pizzas like BBQ chicken that genuinely revolutionized American pizza culture. The frozen line launched in the early 2000s as a Kraft licensing deal, promising restaurant-quality pizza for home freezers. Initially, frozen versions made genuine attempts replicating restaurant flavors with better ingredients than typical frozen options. However, licensing arrangements meant CPK had limited production control, and Kraft gradually reduced ingredient quality to maximize profits while trading on CPK's premium reputation. Today's frozen CPK pizzas completely betray the restaurant's legacy. The crust is bland and chewy, instead of the crispy, flavorful base that made CPK famous, tasting like it came from the same factory as every generic frozen pizza. Frozen versions of the CPK sauce are bland, one-dimensional, tasting nothing like restaurant counterparts. You're paying for the CPK name but getting generic pizza sauce. Toppings are sparse and low quality, nothing like generous fresh ingredients found in CPK restaurants. The famous BBQ chicken pizza becomes a sad imitation with processed chicken and artificial BBQ sauce, tasting like cheap bottled condiment. Most insulting is the pricing. Premium prices for generic frozen pizza with a famous name slapped on the box. You're paying for the logo, not pizza, representing everything wrong with licensing deals, prioritizing profit over quality. Not all frozen pizzas are created equal. These 5 brands prove it's possible to create frozen pizza that actually tastes good and uses quality ingredients. Kirkland Signature Cheese Pizza from Costco represents the best bang-for-your-buck pizza in the freezer section. At about $3.50 per pie, you're getting generous real cheese, balanced sauce, and crust that bakes perfectly every time. The cheese is the star. Real mozzarella applied generously and evenly. It melts beautifully, creating the stretchy, satisfying cheese pull that makes pizza enjoyable. There are no processed cheese products here, just quality dairy that tastes like what cheese should taste like. The sauce is well balanced with good acidity and herb flavor. It's not too sweet like many frozen pizzas, nor too bland. The consistency is perfect, thick enough to stay on the pizza, but not so thick that it overwhelms the other ingredients. The crust bakes to a perfect golden brown, with a crispy bottom and tender interior. It has actual flavor, unlike frozen pizza counterparts. And to boot, the value proposition is unbeatable. You're getting restaurant-quality ingredients at a fraction of the cost of dining out. A family can eat well for under $15, and the pizzas are large enough to provide leftovers. Customer satisfaction scores are consistently high, with particular praise for the quality ingredients and consistent results. Parents report that their children actually finish these pizzas, which says everything about the quality difference. Screamin Sicilian has created frozen pizza with personality, and Bessie's Revenge is their masterpiece. This pizza combines thick, bubbly crust with real mozzarella and robust sauce that actually has character and flavor. The crust is exceptional for a frozen pizza. It's thick enough to be substantial, but light enough to be enjoyable. The texture is bubbly and airy, with a crispy bottom and tender interior that rivals restaurant pizza. The sauce is where Screamin Sicilian really shines. It's robust, flavorful, and has the kind of herb complexity that makes you forget you're eating frozen pizza. There's real garlic, real herbs, and a perfect balance of acidity that complements the cheese without overwhelming it. The cheese is real mozzarella that melts beautifully and creates that satisfying cheese stretch that makes pizza enjoyable. No processed cheese products, no artificial flavors, just quality dairy that tastes like it belongs on pizza. The overall experience is genuinely handcrafted without the artisan markup. You're getting pizza that tastes like someone who cares about food made it, not a factory machine programmed for cost efficiency. Amy's Margarita represents proof that frozen pizza can be both healthy and delicious. This organic option uses clean ingredients, authentic flavors, and hand-stretched crust that rivals what you'd find at artisan pizza shops. The crust is made from organic flour and actually tastes like bread, not cardboard. It's hand-stretched, which creates irregular bubbles and texture that you can't get from machine-made dough. The result is a crust that's worth eating. The sauce is made from organic tomatoes with simple, clean ingredients. No artificial flavors, No high fructose corn syrup, no chemicals you can't pronounce. Just tomatoes, herbs, and spices that create authentic Italian flavor. The cheese is organic mozzarella that melts perfectly and has a clean, fresh taste. You can actually taste the dairy. It's what cheese should taste like on pizza. The clean label means no artificial preservatives or weird chemicals. Parents can feel good about serving this to their families, knowing they're getting real food made from real ingredients. The price point is higher than conventional frozen pizzas, but the quality justifies the cost. You're paying for organic ingredients and authentic preparation methods, not just marketing hype. Newman's Own combines quality ingredients with a charitable mission, creating pizza that tastes good and does good. Their thin and crispy 4-cheese pizza features herbed sauce, multi-grain crust, and a complex cheese blend that actually melts properly. The multi-grain crust adds nutritional value and flavor complexity that you don't get from white flour crusts. It's crispy, flavorful, and substantial enough to hold the toppings without falling apart. The herbed sauce has real character, with visible herbs and spices that create authentic Italian flavor. It is perfectly balanced to complement the cheese blend. The 4-cheese blend is where this pizza really excels. Real mozzarella, provolone, parmesan, and romano create flavor complexity that evolves as you eat. Each cheese contributes something different, creating a more interesting eating experience. The feel-good factor adds value beyond just taste. Profits go to charity, so your pizza guilt helps others. You're not just feeding your family, you're contributing to good causes. This brand proves that doing good and tasting good aren't mutually exclusive. Rao's Margarita represents the pinnacle of frozen pizza quality. When you want the best frozen pizza money can buy, this is it. The sauce is made from San Marzano tomatoes using Rao's famous recipe. It's the same sauce that sells for $8 a jar, and you can taste the difference immediately. The mozzarella is fresh, not processed, creating flavor you'd expect from a high-end pizzeria. It's creamy, flavorful, and melts into perfect cheese pools. The crust achieves a perfect balance of crispy and tender, thin enough to be authentic, but substantial enough to hold premium toppings. The price is premium, but quality justifies every penny. You're getting restaurant-quality ingredients in frozen format. The frozen pizza aisle is a minefield of processed regret, but it doesn't have to be. The 7 brands we exposed today represent everything wrong with corporate cost-cutting disguised as family convenience. These brands have forgotten that pizza is supposed to be delicious, not just cheap and shelf-stable. They've replaced real ingredients with processed substitutes and authentic flavors with artificial chemicals. But the 5 brands that get it right prove that frozen pizza can be excellent when companies prioritize ingredients over pure profit margins. Your family deserves better than cardboard crust topped with processed cheese products. They deserve pizza made with real ingredients by companies that care about what they're serving. Skip the disappointing brands that prioritize cost over quality and choose options that deliver real value through better ingredients and authentic preparation. Because life's too short for bad pizza, and now you know exactly where to find the good stuff in the freezer section.